All right, I'm Terry Gibbs. This is Brian Miller. We're down in Brian's house, and I got a really nice, well, not too nice, but I got this set of trains the other day. Here, this is a 1945 Lionel train set, and Brian collects these. And so I figured we'd come down. You can see the shelves up here. These are his 45, 46 sets. And what we're going to do is look at all the trains made in 1945, 1946, and show you the different variations. So for example, this is a brown caboose. And if you look, Brian has this one, right? And if you compare the lettering on the one that I'm holding, the top one, you can see that it's offset. And that's right here on this window, right? And what that is they set the stamp up. Now, if you read the early Greenberg books, they say these are pre-war cars that were held over and then they put them together post-war. I don't think that's true. I think this is a post-war car and they're trying to make trains. They haven't decided to change the color yet and they're rushing and somebody set it up so some of them came out like that. This car, if you look at the bottom, has trucks with Whirley wheels. That's these here. And it has a flatback, right? And now people think the Whirley wheels are special and ignore these flatbacks. And I'll put photographs of each in this over what I'm saying so you can see them. I believe, and we believe, some of us collectors, that the Whirley wheels were the design, but in 1945, the war ended. Lionel wanted to make trains. They weren't allowed to make the actual dies until the war ended. So they started carving the dies, and somebody said, hey, don't spend the time making those Whirley wheels. Just make a wheel. And that's what they did. So that's why you have two different kinds of wheels. And if you look, and we'll show you another variation with the wheels, the axles come different. So there's two different kinds of wheels on a wide stepped axle. And then there's a third axle that's swedged that has a third wheel that is used on these flying shoe trucks, right? And that explains the difference. Now, if you look at enough cars, can you give me one, Brian?
Which flying shoes?
It would be the wrong one.
Those aren't flying shoes either. Yeah. What are you looking for?
A red one.
The red caboose?
A red fiber. That's black.
Be up above. Oh, even one more up. Oh, this one. Okay.
If you look at a car, now this is a 1946 car with the center decal. It has a red fiber plate on it, whereas we believe the black fiber plate is exclusive to 45, early 46. Now these trucks, the flying shoe trucks, Lionel had problems with these in that they couple closer, and Brian will show that to you. You can see
Here. You can see that there.
With these cars here, see how this is closer than that one? Right? These are closer than these.
46 cars versus probably 47 cars.
Right. So we believe that when they went to the regular truck with the plate on it, this truck, that was later in 1946. In April of 1946, they stopped all development of the flying shoe truck and started designing the new truck that would replace it, right? So anything that was made before April 1946 can be found with the flying shoe truck on it. If it was made after 1946, it is a car, or after April of 1946, it's probably one of these cars right here, which can couple together without problems. With these kind of cars here, if these were coupled together on 027 crack, you could end up with the derailment. And that's our thinking is that they're using the trucks they have up because they're making toys.
It'd be also interesting to note that these cars have silver, smaller, non-serif lettering. These have white lettering. It's a little bigger. Be curious if anybody had them in their collections, they were cross-pollinated, meaning they had this style truck on this car,
or mixed sets.
or mixed sets. Yeah, but that's a matching set.
Yeah, and again, with Brian's trains and with this interesting set that I have here, most of this stuff is unmolested sets taken right out of the original owner or the estates. They're not sets that are bought from collectors. And this is important because collectors tend to want to put things together. For example, this set, this car right here, it has Whirley wheels on one end and flat disc wheels on the other, right? The tender that came with this set is also the same thing. It has Whirley wheels on one end, flat discs on the other. And what's interesting is both these cars have different trucks on each end. This is called a coupler, and the roller was called a light. So they call it a light coupler truck. This is a plain, there's no coupler here, so it's plain, but it has a roller, so it's a light coupler, or a light truck. And then with this is a coupler truck with a light and a coupler truck without a light. So they're different. When you look at the regular cars, and this should be true on everything you look at, here's the Gondola from 1945. It has 8 Whirley wheels on it. And every one of them should be like that. This is a tank car, 8 Whirley wheels.
8 Whirley wheels of the boxcar.
And the same thing with the boxcar. Now, with the exception of the, what's this called? Tender? With the exception of the tender and the gondola, right? The gondola, which is this one, and is a brand new car. All of the other cars in the set have pre-war numbers on them. This one doesn't actually have a number, it just has the pre-war stamp on it. It doesn't even have a number on the
tender
top.
are all pre-war carryover stuff.
Yeah, they're all carryovers. And here's this, and they have the 2755, which is mostly gone. Which, that's a component with the earliest sets, is that they're making them, they're using the tooling that they already have to make the trains. And then later they start changing it. They decide to make the cars red, the Caboose red instead of brown, and away they go. With the engine, the 45 engines all have this long drawbar, and it couples into a hole in the bottom of the tender. Now, that hole actually was there on the pre-war tenders because there was a function amount of drawbar there for some reason, and they'd been making holes like that. And they stopped doing that because it's so difficult to couple those together. And they probably went with this long drawbar and just the hole in the tender because it's one less thing to figure out. They didn't have the big thick piece that would go on here. There's no room to mount a drawbar in here with this in here. So what do? They make that longer. And then later they figured out to make the little flat drawbar that would be in the later ones. Now, this 46 set, this 45 set here, these come with boxes that are overstamped, boxes that are not. And with the boxes, some of the books say that the West Coast got the boxes that were overstamped, the East Coast didn't. That's just conjecture. In fact, I asked Joe Algazzini about that. He said that he had talked to Robert Swanson, who started that myth, and Bob had told him that he had only examined 2 sets. So we need more than that. But anyway, this is a real cool tender. It's got black wires on here, and it matches the engine, right? Supposedly, the cars only come with the black cotter pins in 45, and that's on these two, all right? And we can look at Brian's when he's going through those. But what's cool about this tender is that it's got the number on the front, all right? The majority of them, which would be, this is only the second one of these I've ever seen, and I know of 3 other ones. So there's 5 of these in existence that I know of. But this is just a fascinating variation. If you're into these weird things, these cars, and you'll see this as Brian goes through and shows you what he's got. These cars are a wealth of variations to collect, lots of stuff to figure out. They're just fun. So I'm gonna let Brian tell you about each individual set and show you the variations.
So here we have two 1945 sets. And basically they're up here because basically of the Whirley wheel variation. Top set, everything has Whirley wheels. The bottom set, everything has the deep dish type wheels. And they were probably made within weeks of each other, but there's just quick changes in early Lionel as far as post-war. Things just happen fast. You get into 46, and here, let's go with early 46. Brown crossbars on flying shoe trucks.
And those have the sintered
Single.
axles.
Yep. And then you get into 1946 a little later. Now you're in the pretty standard looking later or early era flat bar type trucks.
Just the
normal
staple
post-war
truck.
with the coil couplers.
And then, do the tenders for the New York Central engines come with the flying shoes?
Not that I've ever seen. That one does not. Then that's a 46. That's an early because you can see with the silver style. That's a whistle tender. Nope. And here's another early. This is a T with no whistle. Again, no flying shoe.
And those all have, and then there's one last.
But this is a 47 with a whistle, no flying shoes because it's a black.
So the tenders must have been later in the year. And then also with the 64 or 2411, you have the big inch and then the log.
Right, so 1946. So gray, silver wheels is 1946 for sure. Black is probably 1947 on the 221 engines. And they made the change because these are metal, heavy, harder to make versus just logs.
Yeah, that's just a cheapening.
That's just a cheapening of the product already in 1 year. Also, 46, all your 46 Sunoco decals are going to have black printing. 47s will have blue printing. That's a pretty standard thing.
Okay.
And if you look, these have black printing on the single.
Show us the single dome ones. We got, the upper one says gas and oils.
Up here?
No, these.
Oh, here. Yeah, the upper one says gas and oils. This one has nothing up or above the Sunoco.
And
And those are both legitimate early 46 tank cars.
Are they just these decals here cut
Yeah,
off?
I'm sure they are. Yeah, I'm sure they're just, and in fact, the gas and oils one's likely a pre-war decal left over.
Okay.
From the 2555s, 2755s,
Yeah, it's a shame they never put
1941, 42.
the railings around the end on those. Those would be gorgeous cars. So then with the sheet metal tank or passenger cars, you said earlier the earlier sets with the flying shoes have silver
lettering that's a little smaller. If we look at, I don't know if we can get this.
Yeah, that's it right there. Yeah, so the lower one
Is the 46 with the silver lettering and the flying shoes. The upper one is a 1947 set, white lettering, standard trucks.
fantastic. And then you got 2 extra Cabooses over here.
Yes.
Those are just
Well, a brown one, but this has lettering, or the red one's here. Again, this is just a standard later red Caboose, 2457, nothing special there. This one is interesting in that it's a stamping. If you look at these early Cabooses, they have holes cut in the ends, where the pre-war carryovers do not.
really.
And the 24, I think I want to say the 2472, the 027 version of this Caboose, same thing there. no holes cut in the
Doesn't
end.
have it. None of them
Right,
have it.
none of them have it. That one doesn't have it either. All of these do. This car is an interesting factory flub up, screw up error. It is the cheapier Caboose, nothing in the ends, but if you look at the detail here, it was designed to take the windows that this one does not.
Yeah, hold them like that. You see the difference there? The one car, the lower car, is designed to have window frames.
So somewhere they had extra bodies, put them together, get them out, Irv. You know, there
Or
it is.
that's an error because it would have been pulled.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, you don't have any of the deluxe cars with no windows on the end other than the brown one.
no, that's the only one, is the brown one. So we have two gondolas, flying shoes. One in this hand is 46, early 46 with the red bars, 45 with the black bars. You can see that there. Also notice there, you can look up against my shirt, there's holes in that car that are not in this car. I'm guessing that was made for the initial electronic set concepts. And they thought the receiver would go up on top, because you can see in both these cars they've got a spot for that receiver. But they ended up putting them underneath the cars, as you can see here. The receiver ends up underneath.
And then the one's clipped.
And then, yes, there's also a difference.
See the way this is clipped?
Yep, there's a difference in, it's hard to see them, but
This is clipped right here.
yep,
This is straight.
right.
So this is the earlier one with the hole,
Correct.
and this is rough, and then that's later.
Correct.
All right, and so that shows them.
On the 45.
There you go.
Okay. So we have two early 46 gondolas here. They both have red fiber boards. This one is marked 2452X. Get that in there where you can see it. This one is not. This has no brake wheels. This one has brake wheels. O gauge set, O27 gauge sets. Same year, just that minor difference.
Do they both have the same interiors?
They do. It's without the holes. So they're 46 cars, early 46. Here is our 2458. So in those 1945 sets, they tend to have a box car for 2755, I believe, which was the carryover from the pre-war. Here is the proper post-war number. We also have flying shoes.
And those are the ones with the raised.
And these have
Center
the
axle.
raised center wheels.
And the
So again,
red
1946. Then the earliest of the plastic cars on the Penzies. Also, we also have similar cars, both flying shoes. And we just, again, back to your normal brown door, orange door variations.
Yeah, and these
Again,
are
these are
this
early
is
46.
the first or second, depending on whether it's the first or second new plastic car for
Right.
46,
Right.
depending on the two-dome tank car.
Correct. They all came out right about the same time. They were, I'm sure after the war, they were double speedy time in research and development, getting stuff out. Because they were working on smoke, they were working on whistles, they were, but this is a 46 car, but it has the typical 46 style trucks on it.
Yeah, now those have, and we have never seen an operating car, and they had flat cars too, or log cars, with the flying shoe, because
Yes,
if
I've
the
never
shoe broke off, the car wouldn't work.
Car wouldn't work. So